We are live.
All right, welcome
Microphone
everyone
muted.
back for the second game tonight of the Trinity Force Network Battle Arena. This is a live streamed game, or we get bronze through gold players to go in against each other while we shoutcast and give feedback to try and help you improve your game. My name is Lashak, and I'm joined here tonight with Horse Doctor
Microphone activated.
Yo.
Microphone muted.
and Spork.
Hi.
This is our second game of the second game of the
joined your
night,
channel.
and
Are we streaming? Are we live? We are!
we are live.
I want some more enthusiasm out of my battle arena casters.
Yay.
I want some more talking from the diaphragm. And I want some more enthusiasm. We are live from Battle Arena game number 2, guys! Like that.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday!
Take it from me, the guy who podcasts every week. You gotta talk from the heart. You gotta talk where you mean it. Come on, let's hear it.
You got to talk from your beer.
Well, if I talk from my beer, I don't...
No, don't talk
Microphone
with your
activated.
beer.
I just
But-
talk with beer in my
Microphone
mouth.
muted.
All right.
All
So,
right,
oh shit! If you want the intro, it's all yours.
you literally
He was
just
in the
came
middle
in
of it when you
at
came in and interrupted him.
Microphone activated.
You jumped
Microphone
in
muted.
right like 3
I was
quarters
taking
right
care
to
of
the
people in
intro.
TeamSpeak, but because some of us aren't admins, we can't do that. So, guys, welcome to Battle Arena. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell. I am joined here by Lashak and Spork and Horse Doctor, who would jump back in. He is streaming. If you guys don't know what Battle Arena is, it's a way to make you better at
Microphone
this game.
activated.
So, this is game 2 of the night. We have a couple people from the last game that we've given
Microphone
tips and
muted.
tricks. So, if you're watching one of these VODs and you're an old person in Battle Arena, we are trying to switch up and make Battle Arena better for you. And you may have noticed in the last game, at the very end, we spent, 15 minutes running over everybody's builds, running over what people are doing, running over how they played. But while the game progresses, we're going to be asking each other a lot of questions and trying to get more information out of each other. So what we really want to do is make you better. Because if we make you better, we make us better. We're going to start here by talking about picks and bans. It's very interesting to see the Graves ban. I can only assume that is a
Microphone
target ban
activated.
for somebody on the blue team.
Yeah,
Any-
Grace is kind of weird, but I don't know if anyone actually plays
I
him.
mean, Paige plays Graves, but I think he's playing more Ash these days.
Banning at ADs
But,
if they're not OP is kind of weird because it's not that hard to play all of them.
Unless
So
you're
it's
unless you're
like-
trying to ban out like a Sivir comp or something like that.
So
Yeah,
first
it's kind of
pick,
weird to ban an AD carry.
Microphone muted.
first pick Skarner.
Microphone
Alright,
activated.
so I played some Skarner and solo queue recently. I really like Trailblazer Skarner, and then you just try and impact the map a lot and farm really hard, and then you're just a monster. I don't know. I think I talked to Bao about this. There's a while where I wasn't ever buying Trailblazer after the nerf. I thought it was a bad item, and I always wanted a late game item and blah blah blah. If you can just stay 1 level or 2 levels ahead of the other jungler and gank a ton because of how much utility Trailblazers offers, it's pretty good. But you have to use it to snowball. I think Skarner's pretty good about that though.
Yeah, there was a while there I wasn't building Trailblazer. Then I suddenly started building it again
Microphone
and I
muted.
realized how much more map presence I had and how much longer I could stay on the map because I had that extra mana and
It
I
really
had
lets you
extra
take
life.
so many more camps. Like you can take 3 more camps just because you had Trailblazer. It's
Microphone
really nice.
activated.
It's also
There was-
really.
yeah.
I was gonna say it's also really handy for
Microphone
any
muted.
of those junglers, like say for example Fiddlesticks, who has a really annoying time trying to take the
Microphone
scuttle.
activated.
Because it does its.
No, you want Chilling Smite.
You
on
don't ever buy.
Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, no. Trailblazer and Fiddle is pretty bad.
Well, this is an example of junglers who are not good at taking the skull crab because they lack a hard CC.
I will say there's one Fiddlesticks who's probably the best Fiddle in the world who takes Trailblazer. I spectated 1 or 2 of his games and he doesn't do it for Scuttle though. He just does it to farm out 6 harder than the other jungler.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
Is he still maxing W?
Yeah, I mean, on Fiddle you max W. The only question is whether you max Q or E second. 90% of the time is Q, but sometimes if your team already has CC and or you need more damage, you can max E second.
And of course, if we're talking Fiddle, which isn't in this game, but just because we're talking about it, you're picking up Chilling Smite to get that extra slow to be able to get the fear off into the ultimate.
Yeah, you either go Smite or Trailblazer. I think you usually Smite though. I think Trailblazer you have to go to Snowball with, or it is a worse item. So if you're not confident and you're not a dominant jungle who can Snowball consistently, you probably just want to go Chilling.
So
Microphone muted.
What's that?
I'm just looking here, judging up, the summoner picks make it hard to tell what's really going on because of quadruple teleports right now.
Microphone
But if I had to
activated.
guess, I
Microphone
would
muted.
say that's probably a Jungle Mumu, Top Garen, Mid Nidalee, ADC Varus. God knows what it's going to be because they're going to continue circling through them. But interesting to see a Yasuo being played because even through a couple buffs he seems like he has such a high skill cap to be good in lane that he is.
Microphone activated.
He's got a lot of really bad matchups too.
Yeah, so
It
Top
just seems
came
really
back.
hard. Sorry. It's really hard for me to look at this and go, okay, we have generally a bunch of silvers and bronze in here whose mechanics are probably not that good, and you need
Microphone
like
muted.
amazing mechanics in Yasuo to play him to be able to understand how to get the most out of his E and be able to dodge skill shots, yada yada.
It might
So
be
it's
that top
interesting
lane
to see
Yasuo.
Yasuo here.
Sorry, could you say that again?
It might be that top lane Yasuo.
Microphone
I've seen a
activated.
ton of it in solo queue. I think
They got busted in last week's solo queue, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was last week.
Yeah, it was.
The week before. So, I mean, people are
Microphone
apparently
muted.
playing it now, but the Garen seems like that might kind of suck. I don't know.
I'm gonna assume. Well, if Zex continues to hold on to that teleport, obviously it's
Microphone
gonna be top, but it's hard to say with picks and bans until we see him lock in.
Yeah.
I do have some concern about Yasuo,
Microphone
say, going
muted.
up against a Garen. I don't think that is going to be a fun lane for him.
Microphone activated.
really bad
Interesting.
lane. You can't dodge Garen stuff. No.
Can't win wall anything either.
You can't outplay Garen. Like, you have to beat Garen, but you can't outplay Garen.
Yeah, they did.
Microphone
They did
muted.
top Yasuo in NALCS, but I can't remember who picked it.
It was Impact.
Oh, it was Impact.
I remember seeing because everybody's like, "Oh, hey, look, Zhao's playing Yasuo again," and then he wasn't actually the one playing Yasuo, and everybody's very confused.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All the infamous jokes about Zhao Zhao being the second best Yasuo player on his team.
Stalker over here picking Vayne into this team, which
It goes Clairvoyance Vayne.
that Clairvoyance Vayne, yeah. right.
Next level.
I like this Alistar pick. I like everything that's going to keep Vayne alive, assuming that she can tumble in the correct directions.
Well, we've got
Microphone
what's probably going to
activated.
be at least a tanky AP Malphite in the mid lane.
And I'm
So-
all for one-trick ponying and playing the champion you like. It's good to have 1 to 2 backups, though, so you don't pick up into, like, a crazy bad matchup. The Yasuo into Garen and Mumu is really, really rough. Like, I don't know, I really question that pick, especially if you plan on going top.
The only way I can
Unmuted.
assume that he thinks it's going to work is because he's going to get the knockup by Malphite, and that's probably why he paid pick Malphite there for the mid lane. But Malphite should really have a hard time against Tsunamix Azir. Because Azir should be able to have his soldiers up in the right place, where even if he's not attacking, he's just zoning with the threat of doing damage, and Malphite's not going to be able to do much.
Yeah, the Zero can zone up melees pretty easily.
Microphone activated.
Is he smart?
Yeah, I
I'm-
really question the 3 TPs. I hope Stalker doesn't take it.
Yeah, go ahead and continue talking, guys. I have to take care of something for a moment.
Alright. And Stalker switched. Alright, that's
Switched
good.
the last second this time. Congratulations.
So, summoners, I think they're pretty standard. The one questionable thing I have is the teleport on Sona.
If
I
that's going to
just don't think you take teleport in supports.
Yeah.
Bot lane is like... Bot lane's really about laning. It's probably more about that you're laning than any other lane.
Well, it's
Because
it's
freezing-
double the reward.
It's double the reward, and it's just, you can do a lot more. I don't know. Mid and top are more impacted by junglers or freezing and lane size.
Well, like
Um,
if you like win lane top lane, one of you won and one of them lost. If you win bot lane, 2 of you won and 2 of them lost. Like that's pretty significant.
But bot lane's really like, the 2v2 in bot lane is meta right now, 2v2 trading. Like, I don't know, let's say Season 2 or Season 3, for example, when Lifesteal runes were around, or Soraka and stuff was in meta. That's not like 2v2 trading, that's kind of like 1.5v2 trading. But right now, like, people take attack speed quints because they're so much better in the 2v2 than Lifesteal. And if you just don't have a summoner spell for the 2v2, it's really bad. Like, against Vayne Alistar too. It is such a good 2v2 if they can get a headbutt near the wall.
But you're playing Sivir, who should be able to stop anything that Alistar's throwing at you through that spell shield. And between your W and your Q, you guys have so much poke compared with Sona that there's no reason not to bring into it Ignite, or I don't really even see why bringing Exhaust into this enemy team. Ignite would do just as much. So bringing Ignite into that, you're not going to kill unless you hit level 6, but you're going to have that kill pressure with Ignite that you could force somebody out of lane. You build that Ignite early, you force the person out of lane, you use that to your advantage by pushing the minions either into the turret to deny farm if you push Stalker out, or by freezing the lane to deny North.
Microphone
I
activated.
get asked a lot Ignite over Exhaust. You have to think about the 2v2. Some champions are really good to Exhaust. Threats on their team and who you can exhaust in a team fight. And Pwn mentioned Ignite on Sona. The reasoning behind this is exhausting Garen and Amumu is kind of whatever. You're probably not going to get a chance to exhaust Azir or Vayne in a team fight because you're going to be mispositioning on Sona to do such, and exhausting Alistar doesn't matter.
Right.
So you would just take Ignite. But that's kind of the reasoning and the thought process, because that is a common question.
And also look at what your top... Sometimes in solo queue, your top laner will take Ignite, so you might not need the exhaust, and you could just exhaust whoever's coming in. At that point, if this Yasuo would have taken Ignite, I would have probably taken exhaust and toss it on Garen or toss it on Amumu. While they wouldn't really have done so much, the Dexter Ignite isn't needed to do the damage when you could just prevent damage and keep your carry alive a little longer. It's nice to kind of have that round, even
Microphone
summoner
activated.
spells.
Microphone muted.
Ooh.
So we are moving into game at this point. We'll see what happens here at the level 1. Anybody else's client kind of go funky?
Yeah, mine did. It went all black screen for a minute, and it's just now showing all the skins and everything.
Well, let's talk about it from a team standpoint. Let's assume this is team versus team. Everybody, this isn't solo queue. Who would you guys give the edge to right now?
Yeah, if
I
you
would-
have any in chat, if you want to
I
answer
really
this
like
as
the
well.
synergy they're going to get
Microphone
out of being able to
activated.
protect Vayne and the Mumu ult and everything that Azir is going to bring to the table there. Plus,
Vayne
I'm
and Mumu are both strong late game too. Or not Vayne and Mumu, Vayne and Azir.
like they're going to have
The two
such
of
a
them
big
can
they're-
defense.
they're going to have such a big tank wall. And they're going to be very difficult to dive. The only dive that really blue team has is Malphite ult.
Mhm.
Well, and then if Malphite ult hits, Yasuo ult, but yeah.
Right.
I'm looking at this, and the great thing that Purple Team has going for them is the fact that they can turn a fight around at any point in time between the two ultimates of Azir and Amumu. But I think especially the Azir ultimate is very hard to use. Blue Team, if they use their power spike walking the mid lane with a good tele from Yasuo, they're going to turn this game around and win this game.
Microphone muted. Microphone
So
activated.
two pretty big things. Sona has 31 AP and Alistar has 34. Neither of these champions should be running that much AP.
Well, if they listen to the Trinity Force podcast, apparently that's what Daze likes to run that much. Humorously, she's been changing quite a bit lately, but
No, Daze isn't trolling anymore. I looked
know.
at her match history. She's building correctly.
I know she is. That's why it's funny. She actually admitted it the other day in the podcast. She's like, "Yeah, the way I used to play in gold doesn't work anymore in platinum," and I finally realized that.
Yeah. I don't even think it's the way she played in gold. I think she eventually hit plat, so she's probably a plat player. So she was just styling on people. But let's see what we have here. Yeah, so start Doran's blade. That's really greedy against Garen. I think the only reasoning behind this would be to start a camp, but he should be setting up to do that if he is.
What are you starting instead of Doran's? Are you starting Longsword or are you starting Cloth 5?
Cloth 5, it's Garen. Honestly, you don't go Zerks anyway, so you can buy the cloth for boots and you're not going to be wasting it.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. Actually, at the same time, I would have liked to see North running Knight rather than Exhaust, because the only person
Microphone
exhausting
muted.
is Yasuo, and if Yasuo's in that fight, he's probably already knocked everybody up anyway.
Microphone activated.
Plus, you have a lot of kill pressure. Between at your level 2 with Stalker, what I'd really like to see right now, if Stalker and Theta can get level 2, I think they win this lane for the first 3 levels.
You can exhaust Yasuo mid ult and kill the damage. It's pretty good. I like the exhaust.
I'm not against it. I don't think it's a bad pickup at all, but I definitely think that Stalker and Theta can win this lane very heavily if they get to 1 minion before the enemy. One big thing I don't see a lot of bottom lanes do, I see it a lot more in Platinum and higher, is that they understand when 2 is going to come up, and they are already walking to the enemy when they're hitting level 2. So like they're walking in range to headbutt, they're walking in range, to skill that really fast or really quickly and land that hook or whatever it may be. They don't see that happen very often in lower
Microphone
evos.
activated.
Sivir needs to recognize that she's playing an all-star lane too. She needs to either start W or Q. It looks like she started W. And if you start W on Sivir, you should never let them get 2 first. But it looks like Sivir lane will get it.
Sivir should get it. They're already a minion ahead
Mm-hmm.
at this point. Now they're even.
Yeah, one of Vayne's weaknesses is wave clear, and Sivir's strength is wave clear. So, like, if you're close to a level threshold on Sivir, you should be hitting it before Vayne every time.
Interesting top lane. We missed that whole trade up there that Garen almost died to the Yasuo.
This is why Blade is bad, though. Garen can chuck 5 pots. Or TP, but... What Yasuo wants to do is try and get this in the tower so he can TP, though. If he has to stay with, 20% health or give Garen lane control, he's in a really bad spot.
We're about to see a flash blown in mid lane.
Or not.
Oh no! There was a flash. You were right. 2 of them. And
I
there's
was-
the auto.
The auto for first blood. That was nice.
So, Malphite, remember to pop biscuits. He may have made it, maybe not.
And there's that all in and the flash, the Q kill.
Oh! Last
That's
time,
that 30 AP dude.
barely.
And
That's
that
that 30 AP dude work for you.
in that mid lane matchup, Azir was ready to hit 4 and still had barrier up. It was you had to walk through so many minions. It just was not the smartest trade.
Well,
for
top
you to
lane we
try.
actually see a Mumu going in here, and Scarter is right behind. So, okay, nice E to get out of there. Silent, unfortunately, coming at the wrong time. So, but hey,
Remember when you're ganking a Yasuo, though, don't go behind him, go in front of him, because otherwise you give him a free dash to his tower like you did just there. One thing to be careful about. Because even, most other champions, you want to get behind them and cut off their escape, pretty much.
No, I was
It's
gonna
Yasuo,
say-
you give him an escape, really, so...
I was
So
going to
careful
point
with
this
that.
out to Silent too. If I don't know if you were
Microphone
watching that,
muted.
and Silent know what I'm talking about. That he went in full hard on Skarner. Skarner's going to win a trade against an Amumu, even with double buffs, because Amumu can't do the damage that
Microphone
Skarner can with the.
activated.
Because Skarner has the Q. He's maxing Q. At least I think he is. Let me double click him.
Amumu
It-
had pots and 20% health. If he auto-attacked, he should have just killed Skarner.
He wouldn't have been able to kill Skarner though, because between the Skarner shield and the blue on Skarner, that he was having more cooldowns up than Amumu did.
And then his passive stun.
So, how would you recommend that Azir be doing a better job of trying to zone Malphite off of CS? Because Malphite actually has the CS advantage right now.
He needs to not let Malphite push. One, he needs to not let Malphite push.
Yep.
2, it's 5 minutes. Neither of them are CSing well. If he had just hit most of his CS, he'd have advantage.
And one of the big things is putting up that soldier back where
Microphone
Malphite
muted.
is going to stand, and using that soldier as a piece. See how he's having to use Q to move his soldier around to do it. If he would put soldier right in the middle of those creeps and use that to zone out the Malphite rather than wasting the extra mana to Q onto him. Yeah, see that E was uncalled for. He just wasted too much mana doing it. But the soldiers, it's soldier placement. Soldiers should be placed to a point where Malphite can't walk around it without getting hit. Essentially. And at this point, Malphite just has free lane in the rain because he can walk anywhere he wants. With the change to Malphite, not
Microphone
putting
activated.
in the W, have we discussed that before? If the new Malphite should be putting points in the W at all?
I think it's 1 point instead of 0 now. People used
I
to
agree
just
with
not
that.
put a point in it. But I don't think it's something you max.
No, not unless probably. Bottom lane's actually taking quite a bit of harass. I'm not sure what you're watching at this point, but
Yeah, I'm just kind of skimming around.
I find the
I'm on
weird
bot.
the weird thing about the new Malphite W is that your bonus auto attack damage scales off of AP, but
let's go ahead and
it's
watch mid.
physical damage.
Yeah, those are the best kind though. The kind of skills that you can level up at any point in time. Top lane's also being ganked. Lots of inopportune ganks coming in here where there's points where they could be going or points where they shouldn't be even standing there. Like right now, that Skarner with the way the lane is pushing should have left sooner, and now he's going to meet Amumu because of his mistake of standing too long.
Yeah, but he's going to want to meet the Amumu.
Yeah, see, this is where that stun comes into play because he's doing so much damage to the Amumu. I like how they both backed off. I would have actually liked to see Garen collapse in on that point because they could have forced quite a bit. He's level 6. I think if he would have walked in there with the Q and smacked him with it and ulted, they would have gotten the kill and walked out of there alive. So just again, map awareness, Garen, be aware of what's going on. I know that CS is juicy. I know that Yasuo is juicy, and you may have tipped him off, but it was probably worth your time to walk down there.
Minion blinders are real.
I think for both junglers, like buying sweeper and using it, Skarner used his, but remembering like when you don't need help clearing anymore, and one of the best reasons of getting Trailblazer is you don't need that help, you should be like permanently smiting Wraiths. Like, not only is Wraith buff good for clearing wards, it means until it gets used, you can literally draw a line on the map, and everywhere you walk isn't warded.
Yep.
That's
the best part I like about Wraiths. You can do anything you want.
You really need to be smiting that.
It's just as important to know that there
Microphone
isn't a ward
muted.
there as there is clearing one when you find it. Alright, deep ward there by Azir into the jungle.
Yeah, let's
Sorta
look here. Yeah, it's because Amumu still has not picked that up. We were just touching on that change. And we've seen the Alistar already go back. What do you think about an early an early sweeper on Alistar
Microphone activated.
rather than an early ward?
He's being pushed into his tower, so he's not going to get to use it. Ward at least lets him ward first bush, so Vayne doesn't get harassed by stun as hard. And it lets him ward back bush if he thinks he's going to get dove. I think this is correct. It's really hard to use sweeper when you're pushed in a tower.
Is Yasuo building an early cleaver? Is that what he's trying to do with this Ruby Crystal, I'm assuming?
I don't know, that's pretty rough.
No, he's going Sunfire?
Tank Yasuo? Question mark?
Alright, so Yasuo is not a great tank for quite a few reasons. Whoa.
Rip his ear.
Yeah, that's that level 6. Well, power spike. I know he's level 8, but that's the 6 power spike there for you. But go ahead, yes, yeah, Yasuo, why you should build damage or at least build an early.
He doesn't have
blade.
enough utility to be a tank. Like, I don't know. I don't really think it goes a lot deeper than that.
Oh, he's like a melee carry, really.
Mid-
He
middle.
scales too. He gets double crit.
We see this full on gank here. Nice flashes out of it. Unfortunate late ultimate there by Amumu. Really should have been pushed out a lot
Chase
sooner.
him.
Stop chasing him and start turning on the Skarner right there.
If you were going to commit to ulting that, he really should have ulted like pretty much as soon as he landed the bandage toss.
Yes. As soon as he I didn't look to see if his ultimate was up here. Let me go.
It was. I believe it was because I hadn't seen him ult yet this game, and then he ulted.
Yes,
just
it was. It
seconds
was
later.
up. As soon as he landed that bandage toss, he should have ulted. It was definitely up in that gank.
So if you have sweeper proc and you can't find the ward either because you could get killed for finding it or whatever, I should see a ping on the map, and you probably should be typing ward. It helps. Just relaying information. I mean, nobody here is ever going to get the opportunity to play with Rush and solo queue, but he permanently hits rank 1 on Korean solo queue. He's a really good jungle. He literally times everything. And these are challenger players that already know the timers too.
Oh, it's nice not to have to time in things on your own, though. If you have somebody doing it for you, it's just one less thing you have to worry about and focus on in the game.
If you're jungling or playing support, you have the time to do it. Usually.
I'm sorry, but I have to see myself last hit as a jungler, horse.
Kappa. Yeah, it's like my biggest pet peeve when I go over somebody's replays. That's why I try and use OBS sometimes. So I can see if they're looking at the minimap or not.
Bottom lane.
Solid
nice
Sona
turn
ult.
around.
The spell shield though was kind of pointless.
Oh.
They were still stunned from the Sona ult when he popped
Oh.
his spell shield, so there wasn't anything that he was going to hit him with.
Yeah. Okay. So
Microphone
Megalithon,
muted.
during that right there, if you would have popped alt literally 15 seconds sooner, right when you start auto attacking, you would have turned that fight around and killed Stalker. You used alt to get out of that fight rather than to engage it, and you had Stalker stunned through that ultimate.
Get him dead
Microphone
right.
activated.
I can see both sides. He didn't have wards up, and sometimes it's good not to put all of your eggs in a basket if you don't have wards.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty. I don't know.
But between the amount of CC that there is with Alistar, you might as well pop it and hope for the best. It's kind of like one of those 50-50 scenarios that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, sometimes you do have to take chances.
All right,
That
Silent
was
with
a,
the
that was a
ultimate.
nice Umuald. I mean, he's still in trouble, but
I like that heal. I like that heal by Stalker to keep him alive. Very nice.
That was well done.
It looks like in the top lane, Sunfire Yasuo is up against double longswords Garen.
So Sona, you're pretty close to a cord. I would have liked to see a flash Q cord. I think you could have gotten a kill there. Your Q is up as well.
That's something that I would definitely touch on if I was listening to or I was watching a Sona replay. Would be cord management. I think that's probably the only thing I would harp on the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Well, I
cord
mean, like,
management is so huge.
if you have flash and you have if you have 2 points and flash, and somebody gets away with like 10 health and your Q's up, they should probably die like 100% of the time. Whoa, Sona, rip.
Nice.
So when you're playing against Vayne, just try and avoid walls, especially if you're squishy. And the Sona doesn't have a health item. I think it's really important to, like, even if you play a mage support, Sightstone is important because health is important bot lane, and that goes back to like the 2v2s we were talking about earlier. If you get insta-gibbed, like, your 2v2 is crap.
There we go. I'm back live.
Okay.
Ghostblade.
Yeah, I was just noting that earlier. It's making trades really weird between these two.
Garen, don't rush Ghostblade. If you're going to rush anything, rush Black Cleaver, because it makes you both tanky and you do lots of damage. Your E actually stacks every Black Cleaver proc. You can stack 3 or 4 of them through an E.
I've seen both. The Garen I played with in solo queue, he's like a 60% win rate Garen in D3. He goes Brute into Trinity, or Brute into Black Cleaver, depending on the game.
And I'm not mad about the Brutalizer rush by any means, but
Just not played. Yeah, no. I
just
understand.
not Yumu's Ghostblade, yeah. Because that crit doesn't do anything for you. Yeah, you get lucky. It's one of those things like it's chance. Crit is based on chance. If you're playing anybody, you prefer to have guaranteed damage or guaranteed extra damage. So you stack up all those Black Cleaver stacks and Q them, and you do more damage than you would have done before
Microphone
with that
muted.
instead of having the Brawler's Gloves.
I would say the damage is rather
And
guaranteed.
Yasuo has gone into Balmy Cinder into an Avarice Blade.
Listen, I can't fault the guy. He's winning, okay? But it's
Yeah,
not something
yeah.
I would normally do.
Right.
Well, I
Well,
I say he's winning, but he's actually 11 CS behind.
He's actually behind CS, yeah.
The trades are weird because they both just tend to come out not wanting to fight anymore.
This is actually fun to watch. Top one, you ult that, it's dead.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's the problem, is that Garen can just walk into the bush for a few seconds and just start regenerating his health back. And
Yeah, the big thing you play against Garen is to try to keep that passive down as much as you can, because if he has that passive up, he has lane presence. He doesn't need potions to do it. So having something like Avarice Blade builds into Static Shiv, using that Static Shiv proc properly to keep that passive down on Garen is pretty big. So what are we
Microphone
looking at right now? It's
activated.
5-4. We're 15 minutes into this game. Gold is fairly even. I mean, it's only 300 in terms, and there goes the Sona.
oof.
So yeah.
It's Sightstone, man. The boots with Lucidity, that's like over 1,000 gold, dropped into no combat stats.
Especially when you're, I mean, you are 2-2 and 0, but
Oh, and has the home guard on them already.
yeah, that's just a waste of gold at this point, because you know what, the lane is over, and that's the time that Lucidity would shine, is when you're in lane, because you're able to get power chords more quickly. But you never at one point impressed me with the way you had your power chord management or your Q
Microphone
management.
muted.
So picking good in practice, great theory, but you never showed me that you could do it. So it's probably better off to
Microphone
play to build into that
activated.
Sightstone
Microphone
and ward up
activated.
for your Sivir and allow your Sivir to farm.
I would like to see if Red Team have put down some wards, like, at all before starting that dragon. It was definitely, I felt, a good time to do the dragon, but not setting up any vision is just kind of dangerous.
I don't think that Alistar had any charges left
No,
when
he
he did it. Yeah.
That comes
Yeah.
down to Amumu. He should be buying a pink. and having it set in inventory.
Yeah, what are we going back right now? Everybody's gone back. I'm looking at 700 gold on a Mumu. And he bought 2 stealth wards. I would like to see a stealth and a pink. If he walks out of there with 700 gold. Alistar sitting on 100 gold. Alistar, you have 150 gold and you're walking on the base. Buy a pink. Always going back for it. All right, there's the pink. A Mumu, you walked out of base with 300 gold. Buy a pink. Like that's pretty much the rule at this point. Is if your pink hasn't died and you're walking out of base with extra 100 gold, spend that gold on the pink ward. Everybody.
This is actually something I touched upon too. Even if your pink hasn't died, if you're winning, move your pink forward. If you watch pro games, sometimes they like have 15 pinks on support, not because their pink died 15 times, because they need to move their pink.
Yep.
Like sometimes if your pink doesn't die, it's because it's in a crap spot, and you need to like be able to recognize that.
I will say, as a top laner, a number of times I'll buy a pink, put it down in lane, and eventually I'll just buy a pink because I have 100 gold left, and realize I need to move it forward at that point because it's not doing me any good sitting up in that top lane bush.
Exactly.
I sing the praises of putting it in try or putting it in a top lane, but like Horse said, he needs to do it. North, aggressive, pushing over the wall. I like it.
Hey, yeah, it's also you gotta make the plays when you're winning. So this is worst case scenario for Sona if you look at the reds in the jungle. If you go damage on a support instead of a Sightstone, 1, it's hard to get sweeper because you don't have the Sightstone, and 2, you don't have Sightstone. So if you build damage and lose tower, your jungle gets warded out so hard without the Sightstone, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And you have no way to control.
I do need to sing praises to the Yasuo over here because he hit level 9 and upgraded his trinket. Nobody else on his team has, and nobody else on the other team has had as well. Even he has died once and still upgraded his trinket.
That's good.
Good job.
It's pretty easy top too, because a lot of times you'll finish your item and you need to buy a ward, but you'll have 200 gold for wards and just like buy the totem.
Right.
This is a good Skarner ult. So Skarner, at the very end of your ult, turn backwards. You can get more distance on your tail. You just click, I don't know, in the opposite direction you're facing, and you can do like a little 180 and put more distance at the very end.
Just like a couple pixels more distance.
Mm-hmm. Well, you just drag them from in front of you, behind you, without actually moving. You're just repositioning your character.
So what do we see here? What we have? Baron spawns in 30 seconds. We don't care about. Did we have a timer on Dragon?
No, we don't. I believe it's 3-ish minutes.
He was killed at 16:19.
Yeah,
So
that's good. That's really good. That's almost exactly 3. Alright. So Mouth,
okay,
pretty standard build.
So Leshak, how do you feel about how the game is going right now? Do you feel like with the way that push down mid lane that they worked out well together as a team and walked out of there ahead, or should we be seeing more of that side lane split push out of the teams that are ahead and continue to use their lanes to their advantage?
I feel like Purple Team wants to push for the team fight right now. Looking at where their gold is, they've got 5 kills onto Vayne, so getting into some fights with pushing as a group and getting some fights where she can use that while having the rest of the team protect can snowball her even further.
Yeah, we've got the TP advantage on Garen at this point, so Garen can sit top lane for quite a bit of time.
Snowballing,
yeah, can we see it? Nice slash, good job. I didn't need that ult though. We talked about this a while ago, and I think Horse and I talked about it, was the Infinity Edge versus Blade of the Ruin King on Vayne, and we do see that Stalker went Infinity Edge, and against this team with it being not that tanky besides Malphite, even Malphite isn't tanky enough. That Infinity Edge at this point would be the right call. Paid 2-shotting him, 3-shotting technically.
Yeah,
if you're winning lane and you have enough for BF, a lot of times you just buy it. Sometimes you even get BT.
This is a little tricky because all of the kills are on Malphite, and then all the kills are on Vayne.
And you're waiting on the cooldown of Malphite's ult to do anything.
That would definitely be a good time for Purple to want to look for a group up fight, because without that ult, Vayne's a lot safer.
And there's the top lane. Saw that coming. That's what I'm going to say. That Bomby Cinder that you bought was great for the whole 3 minutes you bought it, but if you would have had the Avarice Blade into Static Shiv, you would have been able to push the lane and roam, or use your teleport to your advantage. But instead, you opted for something to passively push the lane, rather than actively push it.
It's also less health than Giant's Belt, and Sunfire is a really inefficient item unless you get it like first on Renekton and maybe Garen, or you're building the Cinderhulk. It's really outclassed by Randuin's and other items.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
How are we feeling about Silent here building, going for Leandri's right out?
I can already tell you.
Health.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, you look at Malphite and you're like, okay, he builds health. Okay, Skarner does. Even Skarner's rush into Frozen Heart here, I'm not enthused with. I would have rather seen a rush into Warden's Mail.
Good job not using any unnecessary ults in that fight there.
I think Skarner scales so atrociously hard with CDR that Heart's good. On my Skarner games, the games that I didn't get CDR fast enough, I really struggled. You also get more ults on the map, which is a pretty big deal.
I can agree with that. I can also say that I don't like the Frozen Heart because it doesn't give you any effective health to move with Cinderhulk. I would have rather seen some kind of effective health come out of Skarner here to combat the damage that Vayne is going to be doing. Because Vayne's got all the kills. I get it that you're building it so she can't attack as quickly as possible, but you don't have any health to combat the damage that she's doing. You're just combating auto attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's critting every other auto attack, it doesn't matter.
Or her W's percentage. Building health doesn't do anything.
So, Adam, you top lane main. How did you feel about that Garen teleport just now?
I actually missed it, to be honest with you. I was watching the other fight.
Right after Dragon, he teleported up to his tower when there was not a wave pushing directly
Oh,
on
I'm
it.
seeing it now. No, absolute waste of absolute waste of teleport. I get that you want the CS and you want to be able to use it, but you have to understand that the risk reward, or I'll say risk reward by this. What's the reward for getting that 100 gold? Because you actually went back after you used it. So what was the point of using that teleport? You gained 100 gold for what? To pick up your Sunfire Cape. Instead of you could have ran to it, you could have used your teleport to whatever team fight breaks out later, and you could have saved the turret at any point in time. You need to use that teleport off. You need to save that teleport so you have it so that it's like, I hate to put it this way, it's a very bad way to explain it, but teleports are used in a manner of clutch. You want to be able to clutch out a teleport so that you're changing a team fight in your favor. So you need to be continually have that map awareness when you have a teleport so that you're affecting a team fight at some point. You're not using teleport selfishly to gain 100 gold, you're using it selflessly to help your team.
Yeah, the two big issues with teleport here is one, they have so much ward control on the map, he can TP behind people and force a fight if he needs to. He can TP to a fight if he needs to. He also gives blue team a win condition, or not a win condition, but a map condition, because Yasuo has TP advantage on for like the next 2 or 3 minutes, which isn't. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget once lane ends about TP advantage, and it's a real thing. Especially late game, super especially late game. Like, you don't use TP. There's a point where you don't use TP if the game goes late for probably about 15 minutes. But if you use it, the enemy team has such an advantage in you when pushing lanes that you can't make it there, and they're doing so much more damage to turrets that they're winning the game at that point. So you have to always be aware when your TP is up and the enemy's not. And then we go back to timers, time those TPs. So we basically see a big team fight going on over here with Silent. Again, a late ultimate, right?
This comes down to the ward control.
Or probably shouldn't even used it.
Yeah, so did ward like TP in such a bad spot because of the wards. I mean, it didn't matter, but
yeah, I just had it was
scuttled too.
So Malphite kind of going pseudo tank here with the Iceborne and Abyssal Scepter. I'm kind of curious if I would rather have seen a looted Zeko rush on him, but he would have been behind in items.
So you went AP Malphite, he went Magic Pen, and he went Ability Power. Mm-hmm. If you go Bruiser, Fist is good because you're dealing physical damage, and you're kind of a mixed Bruiser and you're not itemizing anywhere. So you bought Abyssal to reduce their magic resist. Well, Fist does physical damage. Like, I don't know. I would just like to see, if you go AP, commit to AP. Don't get an item that deals physical damage. Too weird.
I like that rotation there. The rotation was fine, except for the red team is countering it very well by getting mid turret here. Actually, red team making it out quite a bit. So teleporting back is the best thing you can do.
How do we feel about...
And red team, though, I would really like to see Alistar walking up in here instead of ignore that pink and walk up there and stop that back. Because the biggest thing you do is if you stop that back, that allows your team to get that middle turret or at least dive the Sivir at any point in time. So stopping backs is something I don't see a lot of people do in the lower relos, but it's be mindful of map awareness, and you'll understand when you can stop somebody because you want to give your team the advantage and know that numbers are advantage.
Soul Stealer. Alright, so Soul Stealer is an item I build a lot. I'm gonna tell you why it's not good in this game. They still have enough burst with Azir, Amumu, Vayne, and CC that if you ult in, unless your team's like cleaning up hard, like Malphite's always in a position he can die. Especially with an AP build. Like, Soul Stealer's something you build on safer champions, if you do want to build it. So if you do really well in Lux, maybe. But like not champions, the ult 10.
Right. Is Alistar building Righteous Glory?
Yeah.
Looks like it, yeah.
I'm fine with this build.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. I get why you would build it, but at the same time, you are as Alistar right now, you are transferring from Engage because you have a Mumu and you have Azir. You are now transferring into Peel. So the Righteous Glory, while it's helpful to everybody, I would have rather seen that rushed on a Mumu instead of this haunting guys. Like, part of the itemization problems they're having right now, granted everybody's not grouping up and everybody's not on the same page on their team, but part of it is itemization issues because the Peeler is building Engage and the Engage is building damage.
Now, how do we feel about with the gold lead that Stalker's got on his Vayne for having so many kills and keeping up in CS for the most part, getting that QSS already?
Good. He's playing Skarner. He has to.
Yes.
Like sometimes there's just stuff it's not situational. If you see Skarner and you're playing Vayne, you buy QSS.
Speaking of which,
All right, good E. Cool. Well played. You didn't have to get grabbed.
He's in
We have Dragon
spot,
in 8 seconds.
You can't QSS Malphite ult. He just needs to really chill until Malphite ults in these fights. I don't like the reckless style of AD carry, but sometimes you have to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that style of AD carry I play is reckless, and it gets me in trouble quite a bit. So you need to watch out right here. Stalker needs to... Yep, there it is. Saw that coming. Stalker standing too close, not respecting the Malphite ultimate. Nice ultimate out of Silent here as Alistar plays Peel for his team, but...
Megalo went a little bit too melee form there on Sivir. No, not
did
DC.
Did Sonomic lag out there? Did Sonomic not know what was going on?
Yeah,
He stood there and just auto-attacked. I couldn't move the whole time. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I was wondering. I was like, that doesn't look like what Sonomic would do.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, this game is turning around because there was a mid-game point where you guys got too big for your britches, Red Team. You thought that you guys were so far ahead because you had all the kills on Vayne that you could just split push and go in 1v1, and you played it to the point where the enemy team was grouping when they needed to be grouping, and so you're throwing the game because of that reason. Start playing as a team.
In that fight on using items too. Azir didn't use Elixir Sorcery, and Garen didn't use Ghostblade. Sivir lived with 50 health. Like, if Garen had used Ghostblade and killed Sivir, and Azir had used his Elixir, that fight may have been very different.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to say, especially if you're building Ghostblade first and Garen, you have to know to use it. Like, you can't just build it because you think you need to. You need to have a reason to build it, and that reason is to be able to run at people and stay on them. Plus, you're getting more auto attacks, of course, but weaving in between your Q and your moves, you're going to stick on somebody and kill them.
Red Team has 3 drags. That's like, I don't know, they almost need to play around 3 drags now. Use Azir Wave Clear and play that.
Yes, they can't fight right now at this point because of... I mean, they have a 7-1-5 Malphite, and just the nature of Malphite's ult, he turns fights around. While Vayne at 6-3 and 0 doesn't necessarily turn around between a Skarner and Malphite. They need to play around this next dragon, which is going to be up in 4 minutes at this point.
This is a solo queue tip though, and it still happens in my games. Sometimes people are really stupid when they siege towers. Like, if Sivir uses Spell Shield and then like hops, if she's 500 range, so if she hops up to hit tower again, don't be afraid to like combo her on Alistar or things like that. Sometimes if you're losing, like, the best fight you can take is on a tower if somebody steps up to hit it when they shouldn't be.
I love tower fights. They're my favorite. People get really silly around them.
They're free.
Because they get really greedy.
I can make that dive.
Bruisers struggle on towers, too. A lot of the time. Tanks are a little better, but...
Alright. I like where Salen is at. I don't like that ultimate quite yet. I would
I
have
don't like
saved that ultimate for LeBar.
I didn't like either of those ultimates.
Someone needs to ward the bush so Van can see.
Where's
Van
the
needs to press
QSS?
Can you
QSS.
QSS that?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I don't know if his QSS was up by then, but that was late.
Yeah, it's
but it
just
looks like they're
late.
turning the FUD around.
Wow.
All right.
This is something I talk about in every BA. You need to ward in team fights. The biggest issue in that fight is red team never warded this bush I'm hovering, kind of near dead Skarner and dead Vayne.
I assumed you meant the little entrance to River Bush.
Yeah, the banana.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never warded banana. Vayne got hit by a Yasuo Q out of banana. Vayne couldn't auto-attack people because they're running into unwarded banana.
Tsunamic, I wouldn't have used your passive there because you're not going to be able to siege. Passive is best when you can siege at any point in time, and you're wasting your passive at that point. Yes, you're going to take the tower, but the tower you laid down did nothing for you to take this.
Much better to use in like a siege situation, or if you were pressuring the tower at that time.
Paid. That flash, I think that flash was a little too aggressive for what you got out of it. You could have saved that for later for a big team fight. You know it was going to come up. But back to the Shock's
blue team
point.
Go Baron. They have Vayne
I
got bot
agree.
and they just got to kill.
100% agree. That's exactly what I'd be calling at this point.
Hey. Not farming mid lane is 3 people.
So do you think still feel that red team should be trying to play around the dragon here and should use this opportunity to start setting up vision?
I think they need to play around the fact that Malphite's about to walk on this Baron ward. No, he's not. Alright, I guess they're not going to do it. Yes, they should be warding out Dragon now. Since Baron's not really a threat anymore.
Yeah. Blue team gave up their dragon that they could, or excuse me, their Baron they could have had.
Yeah, just ward out Dragon really hard. Gold is still close. Buy elixirs. I really don't see much elixir usage in, I don't know, even ranked in general. So
I actually, there's about this point in the game about 30, 35, 40 minutes where if I have an extra 400 gold and I know we're going to be out there for a while, I'll buy an elixir just to have that extra presence in a team fight.
if you're carry
Ooh.
and you have 2 items and
Docker
Dragon and
playing too
Baron's
close.
coming up, like you just buy it.
That's what Malphite wants. He wants to delete the AD carry.
How many stacks does he have now?
Oh jeez. I mean, he did just. He's at 9
9.
because he died and lost half.
Think about the damage you could be doing if you had Luden's Echo instead of that Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Because it builds off of your AP, which you have already built with the Abyssal Scepter, rather than the base attack damage that Iceborne Gauntlet has.
Or even if you still wanted the armor of Zonia's.
Mm-hmm. So right now, this is like pretty much a free dragon for blue if everybody collapses together. Garen, I would continue to push top of RB. You have TP up. You actually have TP advantage at this point. I hope that Garen continues to stay top. Thank you.
Azir, you need to wall away earlier. That's so greedy.
Ooh.
I like that Sona remembered to power chord E. I don't think she had a kill, but at least she knows to use slow over her damage. In that situation.
Yeah, that one's very. I think that's probably, like I said earlier, that's the hardest part about Sona is understanding how to use power chords and what's up, because that's a lot to remember in a team fight. It's every 3 spell cast you have a power chord. It's on your 4th.
Mm-hmm. I believe so. It's either 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. I haven't played it in a while. In a long time.
Yeah, I haven't either. So there we go. The first dragon picked up by them. That's actually pretty big for the blue team. That 6% extra damage.
The Bombi
With
Cinder on Yasuo is so weird because he's sitting on it.
This is so weird. Why would you pick up a Rylai's Cryptor Scepter on Malphite? Like, I don't like this build at all.
So Skarner, you're playing against a Mumu Azir. You really want Merc Treads here. Like, Swifties, how many slows do they have? I count 0. Unless I'm miscounting. Maybe does Azir have a slow in somewhere?
Azir has a slow.
Alright, so Azir's slow. That's it, though. Like, get ninjas or mobies.
Yeah.
You know what, trick? Don't buy troll boots. I hate Swifties.
Yeah. Swifties are terrible.
There's-
Allows them to get in the fight. But he doesn't need to get in the fight with this team, because Malphite should be the one that's engaging most of the fights anyway.
As Skarner too, it's like playing fiddle. Sometimes you type out F and then a cooldown. If you have flash on Skarner, you really need to be trying to use it. Like if you can flash Malphite and kill him or not Malphite, Vayne, and kill him before your team can do anything. It's free. So
That's a little deep.
Can we go back to this paid to play and his Riley's Crystal Scepter? Because E's only has 15% slow. Q has the full max of it, and R would have 15% as well.
it's a crappy item in Malphite.
Yeah, it's just crappy, like altogether. Like I understand that you want to make yourself tankier, but build a zone use instead if you want to make yourself that much tankier.
Mm-hmm.
And that ultimate on Amumu, not needed, should just saved it. Again, red team's losing this game based on poor positioning on everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
People are picking fights that they shouldn't pick because people were getting cocky based on the kills that were going out earlier or the kills they got in the mid game. You guys did a really, really good push. You guys pushed hard down mid lane. Granted, there was a couple mistakes there, but overall, I liked it. But at the end of the day, you guys are still playing as if you're ahead.
Too. A lot of these Amumu ults and All-Star engages, he's like ulting one person because he's changing his mind halfway through. Like, if you make a bad call and you're halfway through making it, like, just finish it.
Stalker, instead of picking... Stalker went BF Sword, QSS, Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster. That Bloodthirster should have been replaced by Last Whisper. It's pretty standard that you should pick up a Last Whisper. You looked there, you saw he has a Frozen Heart, you're going to want that Last Whisper as a third item.
Vayne's a little different. I don't know. I only count our one armor item in ninjas, and her issue is she wants to do more damage, but she also wants to stay alive because she's dying. And BT is the closest thing you can get to defensive item.
I mean, I understand that, and I'm not telling you that you're wrong, but I'm also saying that she's not going to be able to stack that shield at any point. I mean, unless she's really, really good about positioning, unless you're like Gosu, you're not going to be able to position yourself well enough to be able to stack that. So,
it's 2 ruby crystals, though, as long as you have it going into the fight.
What, with the Bloodthirster? If you have it going in the fight, yeah, absolutely. It's great.
It's just like Vayne does enough damage. Sometimes on Vayne, she's different than every other AD carry because I don't know, you have the damage. You just need to stay alive.
Oh,
just to do
nice E out of fourth caller there, by the way, that Sona.
I agree though that any other AD carry should have gone Last Whisper.
And
Vayne's just
sometimes
different.
I'm not sure if I would have wanted the rest of the team to be ready to go back in with the Amumu ult, or for Amumu just not to have used the ult and saved it for when he's back up.
He probably should have just died. But hey, you know what? Red team did a good job there recognizing they could all push down the mid as a team because they're winning team fights as a team.
So
Meanwhile,
All-Star,
at Baron Pit,
if you're gonna buy a magic resist item, it's a support by Locket, not Spirit Visage.
Yes. This support build, this is like Sona. This is fucking Days support build. I hope she's not watching this. I love you, Days. But like Athene's on Holy Grail, Sheen, Ionian Boots. Like Lichbane is a fucking awful item on Sona.
I never understood that either, why she went Athene's instead of Morello's.
Well, we're not bashing on her, but still, just in general, Sona doesn't have a high base AD and doesn't build a lot of ability power. So Sheen 1 doesn't do a lot of damage, and 2, Lichbane is based on your ability power, and you don't have enough gold to build a ton of ability power, especially through the Athenes. You are building super selfishly, fourth caller, at this point. I would have rather seen you... Hell, I would rather see you build a banner or command and push a side lane at this point, rather than building that Athenes on Holy Grail. But
yeah,
I do like that.
the math out. Unless you have like 3 AP items or like 2.5, Fist is like almost as much as Lichbane on Sona.
is anyone else seeing the graphical glitch that Stalker's Vayne still has the trailing?
He's at the perma-slow thing for like 10 minutes now.
Okay.
It's kind of
Make sure I'm not the only one.
The Stalker's full build. That's good. He's in a tricky spot because he really wants Banshees and QSS at the same time.
Right. There's Malphite over the edge.
Oh, he's on a
But
ward.
they're all scattered, and he's by himself.
Do you have teleport, Garen? Let's see what Garen items does he have?
Dragon's up.
I don't like the Spirit Visage on Garen because the only heal you have is out of your passive, and the passive is now scaling based on your levels, so you'd rather pick up Banshee's Veil so you stop some kind of CC that's coming into you.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
You don't need the extra healing.
Stalker, why did you condemn?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
8-click bushes too. You're taking really long to auto attack. If you play on a high ping, I know Stalker plays an even higher than me. 8-clicking is pretty imperative.
Ooh, Stalker with melee form.
Oh, sorry, you need to peel or engage there. Watching main 1v3 isn't good.
The base race against Baron buff Yasuo is...
Yeah, good job out of Yasuo here for understanding that he didn't need to teleport and try to fight that he could get a free inhib for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, with these
Not a good job by
cooldowns.
Sona. All you need to do there is not die.
You know what? I'm gonna we'll harp on the Sona after the game here a little bit, just with that build.
Mm-hmm. That was
we have
more of a decision, not to build.
I mean, I'm just talking build in general, because Sona also built the Greater Vision Totem with the pink rather than buying pinks, which isn't terrible. Skarner hasn't upgraded his trinket. Malphite hasn't upgraded his trinket. Everybody else has. And again, 42 minutes in the game. Silent, you are going way too deep for nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, your Vayne is dead and your All-Star is dead. You should be hitting tab a lot when you play, and you'll just see Death Timer and not take that fight if you are.
I feel like that's game right there, potentially.
It's getting very close to game with Baron.
It's
Should
gonna be hard to
here
get
in the next
against, anyways.
I think they could just end.
Malphite all sent up, but his ignite is they could end this right now. Wow, Stalker.
That's a good condemn.
Stalker had some healing through that BS sword.
Wow.
Nice.
Are you gonna do it?
Nice played, Stalker. I like that. Well played.
Tumble away, don't eat Malphite. Wow.
Oh, the Lich Beta Thieves Soda has taken the kill.
Kappa.
I mean, that was a valiant defense, though.
Don't use tumble forward. Try and just keep 500 range and use tumble backwards. Tumbling into 100 range into Malphite either is pretty questionable. Like, if you don't need tumble to catch up, you should just be holding it to use reactively or using it backwards. Because when they see you tumble, they know you don't have tumble, which is a pretty big issue.
Mumu built a Silent. He built Frozen Heart. He built Abyssal Scepter, and he built the Haunting guys early. I still think I would have rather have seen the Righteous Glory come out of him at some point, even after the Haunting guys, just to make himself a little more tankier, because he has nothing in his kit right now. Nothing that synergizes with Cinder Hulk. So what's the point of building Cinder Hulk if you can't build health to make it give you more life?
Yeah, I really enjoy building Righteous Glory on the
Microphone
Mumu,
muted.
because already you're wanting to be charging at them to hit them with your Q, and that extra little movement speed
Microphone
can make it just
activated.
that much harder for them to get out of the way.
I like the heart. I think his team is losing too badly for the Abyssal and the guys. Like,
Yes.
in none of these fights, I'm like, oh, this Magic Pin is doing a lot. And CDR is pretty important. But, like, his build honestly should have been Cinder Hulk into Glory into Heart.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we mentioned earlier. We've talked about on the podcast before that we love Magus, but we realize why you can't build it just because it's not feasible. It's too much money. But that CDR is just really hard to give up on any of the junglers that would like to use it.
I know
Because
good
that
at
means
Mimus
one more
that go
ultimate.
Magus. If you buy Magus, you do Mobies, and you try and win the game, like mid-game.
Through
Because it
ultimates.
falls off late. Yeah, you just use it for more ults and it, like, carry 15 to 25 minutes as hard as you can. But after that, Cinder Hulk is, like, exponentially better, so you really need to be a good jungler to use it.
Right. And here we go, blue team winning this game at this point.
Stalker, Orborg.
Auto attack some of those minions if you can't get into the fight.
Yes, good point. Very good point. Yes, at any point in time, if you can auto attack, you should be auto attack something at least.
Whoa, Stalker.
You've got
Nice
GA
hiding around the
you've-
turret, though.
You've still got GA up too. Yeah, you've got that Bloodthirster. Get that shield back up. Get that health back up.
I'm actually really surprised that fight did end right there.
This is one that giveaways the AD carry isn't orb walking or A clicking. When he finishes one creep, sometimes it looks like it takes him a long time to select the next creep. Which isn't. You want to be using A click and DI or whatever you use to attack and move. Attack move cursor is nice too, because if you misclick, it'll go to the closest thing.
All right, so we have Baron in 3 seconds. They can definitely do this. They don't need the smite to do this because they're not going to be able to get out of the base at this point with the amount of creeps that are coming down the lane.
Dragon's 30. Someone from red team could almost, like, I don't know. I think Dragon's the only way they can come back in it, and I think they know that, so they're pinging it.
Yep, 5 minutes.
It may not even be worth it, though. I don't know, this is so iffy. Bane, is Bane gonna go try and solo it? Oh, this is such a ballsy play. I like it, though.
You like it?
Sometimes you take chances, man. This is the chance they have to take.
Yeah.
She might get it, too.
They just got
Dragons
Baron
versus
in our back. He does so much damage.
This is...
All right, so we have a late death cap and only 4 stacks in that Medjai's. There you go, that Medjai's coming back and biting you. So is that 14? I think it's actually 14.
Yeah.
That's working, yeah.
I don't like how they don't show it anymore in the buffs.
There it is. 5
There's
dragons,
5.
boys.
All right, if they play this next team fight right, Red could actually stay in here.
Yeah, Stalker has his GA up and 1 summoner.
All right, all trinkets are finally upgraded by 47 minutes. Silent, no, go back to the base. Oh god, this is iffy.
No, I like the silent. No, I don't. He went too hard. It was good for a bit. He should have turned when Malphite got 30 because his team was cleaning up.
All right, Dragon Guy dying, so the jungler's down, but Yasuo is in the base pulling that back. They don't have Baron to push back with it, so good job here on top lane for going in there and recognizing that he can just backdoor.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Stalker mechanics. That's pretty cool.
All right, there we go. Good job. Good death. Yasuo should have just recognized that they would have backed right after that and gotten the hell out of there and not trying to be greedy.
So this is one thing I talk about whenever I do a lesson with somebody who's playing Assassin, and in this case Malphite. Late game, I don't know, you can watch LCS if you want proof of this. AD carries having flash is a really big deal. A lot of times you'll see teams stall until their AD carry does have flash.
Yes.
So you need to, as Malphite here, you need to be timing when Vayner does or doesn't have flash, because if she flashes your Malphite ult, you guys just get wrecked.
Alright, I like this with the 5 dragons. I need to be pushing down mid lane very hard, especially with the 2 dead. So this is a very good move. So kill this. And you got it.
All-Star, don't force so hard.
Oh, Alistar, you may... Okay, so that's a dead Azir. Yeah, that was just too
Stalker.
hard of a force.
Uh,
Stalker, get the hell out of there, please. Alright, turret's up. The death timers are just so long at this point in the game. Guys, remember, about 40 minutes, you can't force shit that you don't know is going to work out for you.
so All-Star there, you need to, like I said, you just need to hit tab a lot when you're playing League. It doesn't matter what role. And let's say you hit tab there, what information do you have available to you? It's a 4v5. Mateen's in fighting an inhibitor in a 4v5. Your flowchart should be hold your Q and W to peel, not glory into them and engage.
We talked about that earlier, where Alistar, your role went from engage to peel at like 20 minutes in the game. And even at that point, you didn't need to engage. Silent, unfortunately, being caught up by going too far now is going to get punished for it.
Don't walk around off wards all game. Like, this is so strange to me. He's just running into places that vision over and over again.
That puts paid up to 20 stacks right there.
Yeah.
There it is. 50 minutes in the game. You almost made the item worth
he's
it.
He's had it once before and died. Like, immediately after getting it.
Right.
Yeah, so... I don't...
880 AP unpaid. His fucking ultimate does 400. His ultimate does a ton of damage. Let's put it that way.
Stalker doesn't have a QSS anymore because he went with GA.
Very unfortunate.
Okay,
Honestly, I put this.
him. Oh, he missed.
Oh, he missed. It's funny.
Stalker,
I put a
lifesteal.
lot.
You can do it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Wow.
Wow.
That's late game vein for you.
The game ban is silly.
That's being really greedy and ulting after. I mean, ulting while she's still in GA.
Didn't time the GA correctly.
It's rough.
I was just about to say a whole bunch of analysis, and then the shit didn't happen right. What's going on over here with this Zex guy? All right, the ultimate misses. Sona ultimate misses, and you guys are out of there because.
So I don't like Cleaver on y'all. So one of the bigger parts of Cleaver is the 20% CDR, and the fact that he can't stack it a lot of times because you're doing Q into ult. Like if you armor is an issue for you, you just grab Last Whisper here.
So Stalker, with his GA finally popped, just went and sold it and got a Banshee's Veil.
That's good.
Not terrible. At
It's a
this point in the
smart
game,
call.
you've
Yeah.
got a lot of gold.
Like,
Yeah,
More
talk
than enough
about-
gold, and GA without his passive is just useless, pretty much. Like it's not worth that much money. So sell it,
talk
get something
about-
else that's useful while it's down.
Timing Flash. Vayne needs to be timing Skarner's Flash if she doesn't buy QSS. That's really, really, really big for her. And he used it in the last fight. Like, somebody should have put it in chat. I doubt they did, but
I'm sure they didn't. Yeah.
it's big. Vayne needs to know Skarner has Flash if she doesn't have QSS. Because
Yeah,
if
right
he
now-
doesn't, she can play very different.
You know, you have a minute left on this. Everybody should have wards if you have a spot open, or everybody should be warding in some capacity around the back side of Dragon, because you guys know at this point you just have to stall for that Dragon, because 5 Dragon is how you win this game.
oh no.
Stalker just going too deep.
Oh god.
Stalker should be going nowhere alone at this point in the game.
Red
At
team's
all.
face checked so hard all game.
Yes, if you guys take anything from this, don't face check. Don't face check without wards. Don't be alone.
What do you have to gain? Like, Dragon's up in a minute, too. It's like the Gangplank last game, when I was saying, like, what does he have to gain from that ult? What you have to gain here, Dragon's up in a minute, and that's your win condition. You've just
I
need to
can't
ward
believe
until
Red
then.
is turning that around right now.
So when
Holy
you say
shit.
the Gangplank last game, you mean Stalker last game and Stalker this game.
Yeah. I didn't want to say his name twice.
He was what it is. What it is. Yeah. Baron's up.
It's a play style thing that he would probably need to work on.
Wow, I
How
can't
the hell
believe
did the
this
Righteous
is-
Glory run them so quickly away? It only runs quickly if you're running at somebody.
I don't know.
Yes, take this right now. No, take this dragon. It's up. Take it.
Does Righteous Glory active still work towards dead towers?
It must be because they gained. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well, it
so.
wouldn't have been. All right, so
Pretty
they
sure
got
Dead
5
looks
dragons at this point. We know Baron is going to be up soon, and we know Horse is going to be dropping shit in the background.
Might be.
So, and we also know that everybody's up. Yasuo is down. At this point, everybody should be running their face toward Baron, or at least protecting whatever they can. They have wards on it. They see Stalker. They see the blue team walking around it. And Garen has teleport. Garen, continue to push. Don't go back. Garen, continue to push and teleport into that fight right now. Like, seriously, at this point in time, you should be teleporting into that fight.
Well, we know you're actually watching the stream right now and listening to us. No.
Yeah, no, he's 3 minutes behind. But that Garen should have been teleporting into that fight right at that point in time. And the reason he should have been teleporting into that fight right at that point in time, let's see if they get it first and foremost. Who gets
Oh.
it? Blue team smites it. Garen should have
Wow.
been teleporting into that fight.
Skarner
'Cause they
got
would
it,
have
but he did
forced
not
him
smite
off
that
it.
well.
Whoa, Garen, why didn't you TP, buddy? That's a long walk.
Yeah.
If Mumu had been on the Baron, he could have easily smite soul on that. Like,
It wasn't.
he
it
didn't
was
smite
not-
it till like 200.
Okay, red team is winning this because they have 5 dragons, not because that they're playing any better than the other team. If Garen would have teleported on that when I yelled for him to teleport, he would have forced them off it, and he would have forced them to have 5 people alive to roll down mid lane to win this game. They're only winning this because blue team stayed on Baron too long.
I really don't like the lack of elixirs by red team here either. I don't see any iron. I guess Stalker has Wrath. Is he a sorcery?
Roll bottom lane. Roll bottom lane right now. Alright, so you have 30 seconds left. If you're pressing tab, you know you have 30 seconds left. You know his ears rolling down mid, so you should just leave this lane at this point.
Yeah,
You have 25
3
seconds.
tanks. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Who's gonna do damage? Who's gonna take that tower? Nobody. You're gonna be wasting your time, and you have Yasuo.
Yay.
Give it up, kills.
I'm putting my hands up in the air at this point because I just called that. Like, you guys have your 3 tanks facing into Yasuo and 2 tanks. Like, there's no point for you to push that lane out. All right, 4th caller flashing over there. That's a dead Alistar.
Microphone muted.
Every single one of you, because Sivir's coming up, should be rolling down mid at this point. All together, as a group, should just walk down mid right now. Don't walk back, don't do anything. Yep, the ping is mid lane. Very good call. No, Yasuo, don't go back. Yasuo, go win the game. Is this the point where I get mad and start yelling at people?
I mean, that
Microphone
happens.
activated.
Stalker's
This is pretty
GA
rough.
again.
Gary needs to sell for randomness and Thorn now. His Ghostblade and Sunfire are crap now.
Yes, they're pretty much
Microphone muted.
worthless.
Ajax, no.
Oh,
Well, that's unfortunate. So I guess we're all quiet at this point because we just need to see how the team plays it out. Because if the team plays together, they should be pushing. All right, I like this. This is probably the best Azir. It took 56 minutes for Azir to drop a good passive, rather. And that's one that defends. That's one they can use to siege. That's one they can use to defend with. Dragon is not coming up anytime soon. You guys are walking toward it. Again, you should be able to hear the call when it comes out. Press enter, press D, and you guys will get a rough estimation when it comes out. Estimation.
Microphone
So I
activated.
get for talking too much. This is what I get for casting for 60 minutes in a row, guys.
This is a lot.
This is a long game.
yeah. I said, and I heard someone else already point out, but we see that Stalker timed out the 5-minute cooldown on the GA and sold his Banshee's Veil and bought back another GA.
I like it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
Flash
hey.
Malphite ult missed.
Wow!
Alright.
That was aggressive.
That's why I
And
talk
Stalker,
about
that
timing
was-
flashes. If you knew
Stalker
Azir had
did not
flash,
need
that
ult
would have
there.
happened.
Flash Malphite ult though missed the Azir and I think grazed the Alistair, if that even.
We know we have a minute 40.
That's
That's pretty big.
That's huge. Red team wants to fight them now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Red should really
so-
try and force something because if they don't have the Malphite ult to get in the backline and just like completely shut out the Azir and Vayne from a fight,
Or
it's really hard to get on them.
or they can back and let Malphite ult come back up.
Yeah, that was a really bad back from Azir.
Yeah, no. Pressure advantage. If you guys know that ultimate's down, you need to pressure advantage to start pushing down side lanes or push down the mid lane if you
Microphone
have
muted.
to. Just force them to
Microphone
deal with you
activated.
at any point in time. Have somebody split push. I mean, I have not seen Graves. I have not seen Garen use his ultimate in not ultimate. Excuse me. God, this is why this game's fun. I've not
Teleport.
seen him use teleport in probably 30 minutes. Literally.
No, that sounds accurate.
That sounds about right.
Red
This
team
is the
needs to
long-
get this dragon though.
This is
Yeah.
the longest Ballerina game we've had since I've started being a member of the casting.
This is
60 minutes. Yeah, we are going to break 60 minutes for this game. That's why I'm going to say right now, if you guys are watching this live, this last game of the night, because I'm not guessing another one after a 60-minute game. I don't get paid enough for this.
cap.
Wait, you get paid?
I wish. Jesus Christ.
I think he needs to start passing around those big podcast bucks.
The podcast bucks. Yeah, if you guys want to, get in with the podcast bucks, patreon.com/T-Force Network. No, all right,
Shameless plug!
so we gotta have fun. We're 60 minutes into this game.
All right, 'cause everyone's just dancing around the river at this moment, waiting for someone else to make a mistake.
If you're gonna all dance around the river waiting for somebody to
Holy
make
crap.
a mistake, you should at least slash dance.
If
in the
you
river.
know they're gonna have
No,
5
not actually
dragons, you
serious.
have to contest it. You have to
Why
let your
is it this
waves
time?
push, and you have to. At this point, you have to fight.
Malphite's ult is back up. Why is he
This
not
is like
there?
the third, fifth dragon in a row Blue's getting for free. I don't know
Because-
what Red's getting for free. Why is Blue not trying to stop that? Like, come on, guys.
You hear the dragon sound, just time it. Like, it's
Crazy.
not
It's
even
not
like old
literally
Just
it's
yell
dragon.
3
out
in a
the
row
dragon
without a
sounds.
fight.
Twitch chat, and some say that the battle is still raging on to this day.
What is this? D&D?
No, that was last night.
All right. You know what? Nice taking that inhib, realizing that you can do it because the enemy team is moving. At this point, with where everybody is at, if I was silent, I would walk as far and fast ahead as I could and just start tanking that turret so Vayne can take it out. But now you're going back for no reason.
And Vayne's going for the open inhib. And it's gonna get it. Trading open inhibs for open inhibs.
Okay.
Wow, that flash power core, that's so clutch. Good job.
Oh. Oh!
Just watch
There
this
goes
fight
Sivir
play out
GA.
right now. Dynamic playing this fairly well.
And
I don't
Zark's
like
actually played that
GA
fight
into Azir.
really well.
Yeah, that saved them because losing Vayne and Alistair bot there, I thought it was about to be over.
Didn't actually lose Alistair.
Is this game not going to be over anytime soon?
Apparently
There's
not.
nobody in chat yet, so it's probably still going 3 minutes.
My
Yeah.
God.
I'm waiting for somebody to pop in chat so I know it's in 3 minutes.
Right.
That's typically what happens. There's enough time for you to get another beer, Adam. That's what we're trying to
I'm
say.
gonna open the door because it's hotter than shit in this house.
Stalker, what do you do if you're 6K
Stalker's
gold?
sitting there with 2K in the bank and nothing to
I
buy.
think
He's
Stalker
already
should be-
pre-bought his items like 3 times.
Pure or a second PD? I don't think Zerks are what you need right now. Second PD
No.
would be pretty good.
Oh, they're gonna get their first Baron.
All right, so they're being able to pick up a Baron here because blue team is dead after the long traded inhibitors. They do enough damage that they're allowed to do this. So you've still got 5 dragons for a few more moments. You should at least be able to go back and push out the base.
Why
You
doesn't
currently
Garen
have-
have Randuin's or Thornmail? Please.
He's
Thornmail
going
will
for
be huge.
damage.
See, that's why I said they don't really have a lot of AP damage in their team, so he doesn't need to pick up that Spirit Visage because Malphite's the only one. And Malphite's not ultimating Garen at all because Garen's behind that point. He can spell that Spirit Visage at this point and pick up a Thornmail.
I do want to point out when you say there's not that much AP damage. Have you looked at Sona's build?
Okay, Sona's doing a lot of damage. Big fucking deal.
Generally,
Like pick up
if
because you're
playing-
not getting hit by that much by Sona.
If you're playing top, like in the game's 50 minutes, and you don't count 2 or 3 armor items in your inventory, there's probably something up.
Yeah, because you're running at the 80 carry at that point. So you should have a Thornmail, you should have a Randuin's, you need to ditch that Yumus.
Randuin's and Thornmail are so imperative on Garen too, because he gets kited hard, and you want them to at least get punished for hitting you and kiting you. If you don't have like those, I don't know, items that are negative to hit you, then they just ignore you and kite you. At least
63
Thornmail would take
minutes.
damage.
Hey, you know what? I gotta give it to Stalker and Sivir. They are within 10 CS of each other.
Wow.
400.
I think Stalker kind of stopped caring about CS about 15 minutes ago, though.
No, you have to break Battle Arena records.
Wait, do we have a record? Are we starting a record of Battle Arena stuff? 'Cause
Yeah.
the
We're
Battle,
gonna have to.
the Battle Arena Hall of Fame.
No, don't go back, Tsunamic. Don't go back at Tsunamic at this point in time. It's not worth your time to go back. You should be joining us. Everybody should be pushing together as a team with the Baron buff.
Well, they're trying to defend their last inhib,
Yeah.
I think, is the idea.
I understand that, but at the same time, they should have all been mid lane and they all should have been top lane together. Like,
Well, if they had him back, though, they could have just, like, blue team could have walked past the turret and taken out the open nexus.
Wait,
I don't know. I got conflicting opinions, and I'm not going to argue about it
That
right
was
now.
that wasn't even words.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to even argue. I just
Whoa,
I got
Omega.
all right, silent, very good.
Wow. Stalker tumbled Padel.
Dude, the ultimate from Paid to Play got stopped by the Banshee's Veil.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was it. I thought he tumbled it.
They got blocked by Banshee's Veil, but he still got Skarner ulted.
That's
Maybe
why
it's just
hitting
fu-
tab is important. Like, knowing Stalker has Banshees instead of GA there may have cost him the game. Hit tab.
Nice ultimate
Oh,
there.
that's game.
That's probably game?
That's got it.
I want it to be game. How
With
about that?
Azir, that has to be a game because Azir takes turrets so fast. No, Azir, use the W on the turret. Ah, you're killing me.
0 W the turret. Alright. Yeah, no, it's game.
All right, yeah, that's got to be a game. Holy
Stalker,
buckets.
that
Yes,
game.
yes. Twitch chat confirms that is game.
Thank you for
Well, no,
explaining
that's not confirmed. That merely confirms in the next 3 minutes it's game.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
No, don't do that to me, Spork. Don't do it to me.
Alright.
65
Alright.
Even before
minutes
for
and
that, it
24
comes out of the base
seconds.
and aces, though.
Oh,
And
that's a
Garen
BA
with the
record.
final 50 gold for killing the Nexus. Holy shit.
Tsunamic, if you W turret and you stay out of range, it spawns a minion. Well, be closer, Tsunamic. Be closer.
I would
You know
see damage
what?
dealt to
At
champions.
65 minutes in this game, if you didn't learn something by us screaming at you the entire time, I don't know what I can tell you in this post-game recap.
There's nobody even past 60k damage to champion. I'm disappointed with you all.
Wow.
Nobody even past 60k.
I like how Sona did 29k damage. I've seen 20k damage out of a single Sona in a 20-minute game.
Alright, so before we go over each person, I'm going to go over some pretty... This is pretty bad. So Skarner, 64-minute game, 0 pinks. Yasuo, 64-minute
Wow.
game, 2 pinks. Sona, 64-minute game, 2 pinks. Malphite and Sivir, 64-minute game, 0 pinks. Amumu,
Wow.
64-minute game, 1 pink. Garen has 6, that's reasonable for a top.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Vayne and Azir, 64-minute game, 0.
You know what? I would be okay with 1 pink out of any of those people because you could convince me in a 60-minute game somebody couldn't find a pink. Now, is it feasible? No. But you could convince me that it could happen. At least 1 pink needs to be bought by everybody. At least 1. It's 100 gold, especially when you have 3,000 gold at the end of the fucking game.
That's pretty rough. Alright, and each person, Skarner. I'm trying to think back to early game. Smite Raptor more. You played like your entire early game on wards.
Yeah. I'll move over here to Silent. Silent, you like to walk into unwarded places a lot. You like to play out past your wards. You like to walk in unwarded places. You like to use your body to face check. And you need to be aware that you can't do that without wards. Like, you just need to play safer, essentially. You're the engager. And I like that you switched your items out here later into the game. Like, you sold at Haunting Guys, you picked up the Aegis, you picked up the Randuins. But earlier in the game, you shouldn't have been building damage because you thought you were ahead. You should be building for the team for late game, just knowing how your team plays out.
So Sona's in chat. She said, I upgraded pink trinket so that I didn't have to buy a lot of pinks. I think we wanted to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So generally when you play support, you want to get Sightstone earlier. You did well, like you were 2-0 or 1-0, and then you kind of threw lane just because you were really squishy not having Sightstone, and I think the health would have saved you and your landing phase would have gone better. And then after your tower died, you didn't have a Sightstone or a sweeper, and they just warded out your jungle, and that 5-dragon issue was partially caused by the snowball that you created early game by not having vision and being greedy with those AP support items. And generally just Sightstone sweeper.
You played too selfishly with your item build. You should be building, like I like to say a lot, you should be building selflessly. You should be building that Aegis. You should be building the Mikhails so you can stop the Amumu manage or the Mumu. A big thing here would have been building that Mikhails because Megalithon at that point would have been super safe between the Mikhails to get him out of a stun if you could an E in time and between the E if you could, because then you would stop any other piece of any other piece of stun that would have gone in. A Stalker E against the wall, an Alistar W against the wall, whatever it may be. You are propping up your AD carry to carry the game, and as a support, you should propping up your team to carry. You should not try to carry through damage. You should try to carry through utility. And utility is based on the items and based on how you use your spells inside the game. So building selfishly by building the Days Untold build might work in the games you're playing now, but do realize that as you move up, people are going to be able to play into that like you saw tonight, where the damage does not make up for the utility that you lost.
Yeah, you just, like, it wasn't even utility. It was purely, like, the 5-dragon issue is almost entirely caused by the lack of, like, control you had over Vision bot lane early. And, like, let's say you warded out better, and I'm going to give you a concrete example. Maybe they wouldn't have had 1 or 2 of those dragons, and they would have only had 5th dragon once instead of 3 times. Your team would have had a much, much better chance to win. Like, they pretty much won because of, like, the 2nd and 3rd 5-dragon. It was, Malphite, you really need to time flashes and hit tab and pay attention to Banshees. Like, I think that was pretty big. Also, item build. We talked about Fist. It's physical. If you're going with an AP build, you don't want to build an item that has physical damage. Sivir. Alright, so when you go the double PD build, you almost never want to go Blade. Oh, no problem, Jovio. Thank you for playing Battle Arena. Blade the Ring King passive can't crit. BT can crit. So if you have 100% crit, that Blade passive's not doing as much as a BT would. Let's see what else for Sivir. I don't know, I think you really held ult a lot, and Pwn talked about that in a couple of the fights. There's one around 15 to 20 minutes bot lane where you could have killed Vayne, and there were a couple of other ones, but
yeah, the holding the ultimate's a big thing. I know it's hard to use, hard to get used to, and we talked about it. It's a 50-50 gamble at that point. But the way I play is I play aggressive, and I try to gamble more toward me winning rather than me winning based on offensive based on defensive. And again, it's a 50-50 trade-off. But I think at that point, if you would have used it offensively, you would have killed him, and then no one would have gone in after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Thank you again, Jove. Or who was it in the game? Fourth caller. Thank you for the kind words. Again, we might sound a little bit harsh and a little bit critical of it, but we really do want to make you better through it. So I'm glad you're not taking it negatively, or anybody else in this game as well.
Silent, both junglers, like, your roots are really, really undecisive. When you jungle, there's so many roots, and there's a lot to learn. But your general thought process, like, remember your math class what a tangent line is. It's the quickest point from one place to another. So you want to think what buff you're starting at, and what is the tangent line to the lane you need to gank the most. And then just really make sure you're smiting Raptors all game. Like, you guys should have permanently had Raptor buff, like, after 30 minutes. And people were just walking on wards all game. It was crazy. Like, I've never seen anything like that.
Well, let's touch on who else I want to touch on. Yasuo. We touched on it quite a bit in game where we didn't like Black Cleaver. We didn't like you sold the Bombi Cinder. Like, you don't have it at the end of the game, so you realize how silly it was to buy that into Garen because it gained you nothing but health. The damage would have been more effective. At this point, I just think that the biggest change that you should have had is you should have had the Last Whisper to make it through all the armor that anybody was building on the enemy team.
Mm-hmm. Vayne. I practice attack moving. It's a god save if you play on high ping. There's almost like Forgiven. He did an AMA like a long time ago before he's a big thing when he hit rank 1 before he's in professional team. And people asked him how he hit rank 1 playing on 110 ping from Greece. His response was, with attack move, you don't need crazy ping. I don't know. Like, DI allows you to take care of a lot of things like that. But if you don't, every click is being affected by ping, whereas attack move, you're affecting it like beforehand. It's a weird thing to think about, but I know that you play from Europe, so that may be something to look into.
So this is just.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, at one point, fairly in the transitioning into like the mid game there, we saw that all the kills were originally on Stalker on Vayne, 5 kills, and then 5 kills were on Paid with his Malphite mid. What do you feel they should have done with those advantages to try and snowball their team further? Like, do you feel that Paid should have been focusing more on roaming at that point after he had such a strong early lead on his mid lane?
I think if he had ult, yes. If he didn't have ult, no. Malphite's an ult mid. There's some mids that call ult mids, and their roam is really crap if they don't have ult. But, like, you just do a flowchart. Like, I'm winning lane really hard. I have lane shoved. Can I kill Azir? No. Just run with ult. And that's why buying sweep... I don't know. If you don't have sweeper, it's harder, though, because you'll play on wards. That's tricky. Should I have been rolling with Malphite more? Yeah, that's one of the issues I had, too. Malphite and Yasuo didn't play together that well. I think they picked to have Yasuo Malphite ult, but I never saw it. It was really, I don't know, it was awkward.
It is hard to play that way in solo queue when you don't have when you have nothing, because I do find it hard to play as Yasuo and understand when somebody's going to ult, because it kind of is it's unpredictable. But when you know a team fight's going to come up, it's not necessarily difficult to have your hand hovering over R. And if you're going to play Yasuo, you should just be ready for any ultimate at any point in time. But I don't think anybody was playing together at any point, so hard to say.
Star. Recognizing when you need to peel or engage is probably the best thing. And your locket buy. It's, I don't know, especially when you take exhaust. Like, and your Vayne is fed. You peeling is pretty big.
Yeah, we talked about that. You rushed into the Righteous Glory, and there was a point where you just needed to stop trying to engage with the Righteous Glory, and the Mumu should have had it. And we've already harped on a Mumu for his build path anyway. But you shouldn't have had to Band-Aid with the Righteous Glory. You should have been peeling instead of engaging.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something we're actually going to... Sorry, but I think that's something we're actually going to touch on if you listen to the Trinity Force podcast, and we're going to touch on that probably on Monday, is the difference between peeling and engaging and when you should do it as a support, because I feel like that's a trap that a lot of lower level players get into, and I say lower division players get into, that they feel like they should be building Righteous Glory because the enemy isn't engaging. They feel like they should be engaging, but at the same time you have to understand when you need to transition how you play this game.
You almost want to think of it, this is how I explain it to people, you want to think of it kind of like Lord of the Rings. There's 2 ways a team fight goes. Generally, the way one is teams trade backlines. And that's kind of what I saw in this fight, where teams just suicided carries and then cleaned up on each other. That's kind of like orcs running through a frontline soldier and trying to get the person in back and nobody knowing what they're doing. And then, like, imagine yourself as an organized army. An organized army has soldiers in the front and they have archers in the back. And the soldiers put their shield up and they block. That's a much more effective style than, like, being a crazy orc and not knowing what's going on. It's... I don't know.
I think that pretty much covers everybody that we can.
Yeah, it's good.
Discuss on.
Just buy Pinks. 64 minutes, guys.
And on the North and Theta, I see there in the Twitch chat about the Alistair combo. Get into some custom games and practice that. That's not something you're going to pull up on the fly if you've never practiced an alley combo before.
And
There's
even
stuff
late
on
game, you
YouTube,
shouldn't be
too.
doing the alley combo. You should be queuing into Wing anyway. So the alley combo is only if you can make something of it and you're hitting more than one person to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like combo's more of an engaged tool too.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much appeal tool. I think that's good though. I think we may have different casters next game, but there'll probably be game 3.
I don't know if they're moving. I mean, it's almost 10 o'clock.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask Tuco and Phil.
We'll find out. If it isn't, guys, go check out the Trinity Force, or excuse me, Four Wards podcast on the Trinity Force podcast main channel. They are going live with the listener question episode, so maybe your question is being answered.
Yeah, and also 1 second. If you enjoyed coaching in like a structured environment with 10 people, also go to this website that I have on stream right here. Click this red button. Any one of us or anyone in general, you can get the BA experience, but you can also get it with just one person.
What are you showing on? Are you showing Chap? Are you coaching?
It's Patreon.
Ah,
So
I wasn't sure if you were showing LO coaching the Patreon. Either way, both are great.
yeah, no, if you enjoyed this, there's plenty of other coaching options, and it's on Forwards and T-Force podcast as well.
So yeah, guys, thanks a lot for watching the Battle Arena tonight. If there's another one coming up, we'll let you know in chat. Just assume